Welcome back, dear listener, to Midnight Broadcast, your sanctuary beyond the static, where forgotten voices drift through the fog and memories linger long after the signal fades. If this is your first time tuning in, know that you are not alone. Countless others lie awake with you, wrapped in twilight, listening for echoes of the past. Tonight's transmission is called Phantom Airwaves. We're tuning into stories about broadcasts from beyond, signals that should not exist, voices on frequencies no one claims, and transmissions that slip through the veil separating the living and the dead. So adjust your dial, dim the lights, and let the noise of the modern world melt away. The airwaves are open now. Story 1. The Signal at 3:33. In 1949, radio operator Len Greeley worked alone in a coastal monitoring outpost near Nova Scotia. His task was to log frequencies and report any anomalies. Most nights were dull. Ships calling ports, weather updates, the occasional drifting Morse from across the Atlantic. But one night, at precisely 3:33 a.m., a strange tone cut through the silence. A long, low hum followed by a woman's voice, crackling but clear. "Do not be afraid of the fog. It is only memory in motion." Startled, Len tried to triangulate the origin. The signal didn't match any known band. He logged it. The next night, again, 3:33 a.m., the same message played, but the voice changed slightly. Younger. Then again the following night, only now the voice sobbed between words. Len contacted Ottawa. They dismissed it. "Equipment error," they said. But the message kept repeating. Over weeks, the voice shifted between ages, accents, and tones. Always a woman. Always the same message. One night, Len responded on air. "Who are you?" A pause. Then, "You already know." The next morning, Len was gone. No trace. Only his logbook remained, open to a page with the words, "Memory in motion." That frequency, 3.333 megahertz, is dead air today. But some late-night listeners swear that if you're alone and tuned just right, you'll hear her still. Story 2. Dead frequency. In 1965, a pirate radio station operated from a basement beneath a bookstore in Chicago's South Side. It was run by a group of college dropouts, calling themselves WPHM. We Play Haunted Music. It started as a joke. They'd mix jazz with EVP recordings, play prank broadcasts, and splice fake government messages into songs. It drew a cult following. But then the station began receiving calls. Real calls. From static. A woman crying. A man screaming coordinates. Children singing in reverse. The team thought it was interference, until one of them recognized a voice. "I think that's my brother," said Dave, one of the founders. "He died in a fire in '62. They dug through old tapes. Sure enough, the same voice had appeared months earlier, whispering beneath a track. The team freaked out. One member quit. Another vanished. Then came the final broadcast. A deep voice. Male. Calm. "You opened the wrong door. We were content being forgotten." The station went dead that night. The bookstore above it burned down a week later. No survivors. Story 3. Orson's Shadow. Most know the 1938 broadcast of War of the Worlds, the one that panicked America. But fewer know what happened afterward. A few days after the program aired, technicians at CBS Radio swore they heard Orson Welles speaking into the mic, even when he wasn't present. Not just audio bleeding or looping tape. A new voice. Live. "I am still here," it said. "I never left the air." The sound engineer quit. A replacement reported the same voice weeks later, this time mocking him directly. "You'll never fill his shoes." One night, during a live drama, Orson's phantom voice overrode the entire feed. "Fiction is the only truth left." Listeners wrote in. Some loved it, others were disturbed. To this day, Wells's former studio booth, Studio 4B, remains unused. Staff claim the red on-air light flickers on without power, and sometimes, if you walk past the glass, you'll see him, headset on, smiling. Story 4. The Numbers Man. In the late 70s, a shortwave station known only as The Numbers Man began broadcasting from somewhere in Eastern Europe. Every night at 2 a.m., listeners heard a scratchy violin followed by a calm, male voice reading numbers in English. 4, 12, 17, 3, 0, 0, 1. Spies used number stations during the Cold War, so most assumed this was more of the same, until the numbers started repeating across continents. Ham radio operators in the US, South Africa, Japan, and Brazil began picking up identical signals at the same moment. Impossible due to propagation lag. Worse, some listeners reported side effects: headaches, vivid dreams, obsession. One man wrote pages and pages of numbers on his walls, claiming they were instructions. One night, the voice changed. "You were not supposed to decode this." The station ceased. Just dead air, since 1981. But recently, on a digital SDR frequency, someone heard the violin again. Story 5. Dead Letters. In 2004, a man named Theo Riggs moved into an old farmhouse in upstate New York. It had a shed out back with rusted tools and, oddly, a working ham radio setup. Out of curiosity, Theo powered it up. White noise. Then, calling station Echo 1. Dead letters arriving. It was a raspy voice. Every night it read out old addresses. Homes that no longer existed. War zones. Ghost towns. Then it would recite names. Elizabeth Marston. Killed 1917. Letter undelivered. It continued, night after night. Theo became obsessed. He wrote down the names, looked them up. Every single one was real, and each had a letter that never arrived. Then the station began naming future dates. Colin Evers, dies 2029, letter pending. When Theo's own name came up, he smashed the radio to pieces. But the next night, even without power, it turned on by itself. We live in a world of signals. Our thoughts, our fears, our stories, broadcast endlessly, invisibly. Sometimes those signals loop back to us. Sometimes they carry more than static. Perhaps the airwaves are haunted not by ghosts, but by memories. By voices too strong to be forgotten. Or perhaps some frequencies were never meant for us to hear. You've been listening to Midnight Broadcast, Phantom Airwaves. Thank you for spending this hour drifting through the static. Until next time, may your dials stay quiet, and your echoes remain your own. Sleep well. The airwaves are quiet now.